Hi, I'm Catherine. This is My Making Adventure, a video podcast where I like to share all of the crafty things that I've been working on. Today is an October updates video, and I have a lot of knitting to share with you, so let's go ahead and get started right away. First, I'll tell you what I'm wearing today. This is my stripe hype sweater, which is a pattern by Kutovakika, Veronica Lindbergh, and I knit this in the spring. So just in the last couple weeks have I been able to wear this out and about now that it is getting to cooler fall weather, and I've been really enjoying having it to just throw on. I have two pullover sweaters that I've knit for myself, this and the ranunculus, and then two cardigans. So in the chilly, especially the chilly morning, this is one of my grabs. It is afternoon now, but today is one of the chillier days that we've had so far, so I'm getting a full day's use out of it. I knit it out of Cascade 220 non-superwash. I don't remember any of the color numbers or names, but I think it's on my Ravelry page. I used one ball of each of the contrast colors, maybe a little bit more than one ball of yellow, but not much, and like 3.5 balls of the main color. Got hair all over it just from today. All right, so I have been knitting, and all of the finished objects I have to share with you today are from the same designer. And I'm not sure what I'm gonna cast on next, but I don't think it's gonna be another one of her patterns quite yet. But I love them so much. So you'd already seen, but since I'm showing the other ones, I wanted to show you. This is the very first Ollie's Classic cardigan that I knit, and I participated in the test knit for Hannah Graham, and the sweater turned out amazing. And so I began knitting. So this is the very first one. I began knitting sweaters for my other two girls after that. This is for my middle daughter. And then I knit, my oldest daughter picked a different color that she wanted. So then I knit one for her, and these two for my older girls have buttons. I think that first one I did was the whatever size included a 4. I think it was the 6th size in the pattern, and then this one is the 7th size in the pattern. And this used almost exactly 200 grams of Pro Soho's good wool. The first one, the size 6, used 1.5 skeins, and this one used almost exactly 200. If I find in my bags as we're going through my whips the extras, I'll show you, but almost exactly 200 grams of the good wool, which is a high yardage, maybe sport weight yarn knit at this DK gauge, and it's a beautiful sweater. My daughter's loving wearing it. That one was finished at the end of September, and then I cast on the 4th size, which is the 12-month size, for my littlest daughter, and I got that finished too. I haven't trimmed all the ends, but she's been wearing it. So it's washed, it's blocked, it's finished. There are no buttons on this because she's still a baby, and that makes me worry about having to pay too much attention. And she loves wearing this, and she wears it around the house, and it's so cute over a little dress with some leggings or something like that. So lots of fun. This one took almost exactly 100 grams of Pearl Soho's good wool, just a tiny bit left from a full skein. So about 400 yards or a little bit less, which for a traditional DK would be like 200 grams. So those are all Ollie's Classic cardigans. My daughters can match. I'm trying to get them all to cooperate at the same time to get like a picture of all of them together that I could share, but that has not been the case. Even just getting a good picture of this one on the baby is quite challenging, but we will see what I can do in the next couple days. And while I was working on those, I joined Hannah's next test knit, or another one of Hannah's test knits, for the initial sweater. And I think last time I filmed the video, I was really close to finishing the knitting for the sweater, But part of the intention of this sweater is that you would embellish it. And I'm knitting this for a friend who's expecting a baby later on, and they're gonna give their baby a J name. So I use like a crochet chain stitch to put a J in the middle of the front. And I tested out this technique on a swatch just to see like what I would learn from that, how it felt, how it would work. And that's how I decided I wanted it to be like 2 chain stitches thick. So, and I kind of like made a plan for how to go about doing that. So I think I started here and I went like this, around and back up. So that gave me, at first I thought I would do a cursive J, and my husband was like, that's not a J. I thought it looked good, but he did not. So I decided to go with like a different style, and I practiced that on the swatch. The nice thing about this like crochet chain embellishment is it's super easy to rip out and redo. I think all of the ends are woven in, but not cut, except I didn't weave in the ends on the J yet. I'm a little bit nervous that the parents might want, like, if they're like, oh, we don't want the baby's initial on the sweater, but I think that they will like it. I am planning to knit, I still have more of this brown. This is Swish DK. I have a lot of scraps of it and quite a bit more in the brown. Not enough. I thought I might have enough for another sweater, but I don't. Oh, this is size 2 of the initial sweater pattern, by the way, which is I think 3 to 6 months. Might be 0 to 3 month. 0 to 3 month. Because the size 1 is newborn. Size 2 is 0 to 3 month. And the cuffs are like really well done. But I think they're gonna be long enough that like if the baby has short arms, you can fold up the cuff and it'll still look nice. Planning to make at least a hat to go with this before I gift it to the baby's parents. And I think they're gonna be really excited. So that was a quick, fun knit. The test knit's almost over, and I still need to do like the feedback form. And I probably should be doing that instead of filming this video, but maybe my kids will let me do both today. One of the reasons I haven't done it yet is I don't have like a very good photo of the sweater by itself yet. I think I just took one like laying on my couch. So cute little sweater, super fun. I think that used about maybe a little bit over 100 grams of Swish DK, which the Swish DK from Knit Picks is sold in 50 gram balls. So that's like 3 balls of that to make this sweater. I already had scraps left over from other sweaters in contrast colors. So this is the one that stood out the most, that I like the most. I have some other scraps as well. And I'm trying to decide if I want to use more than one color in the hat or just make it brown. And then my last finished object is also a pattern by Hannah Graham that I've made before. And I just finished this last night. But the ends are woven in but not cut. It is the Micah Satchel. And this is the medium size in the pattern. And I used Cascade 220 Superwash. This was some leftover yarn. And my daughters are really excited to give this to one of their friends for her upcoming birthday. I am thinking, because this was so much fun to do, I am thinking about like putting her initial on the front here or on the back. I'm just not sure that I have enough space on the front flap. So I'm thinking about that. That was fun, and I think that their friend would really like that. I have some more of the same yarn in different colors, like a white or a teal, that I could use if I decided to do something like that for her. I would put it like the back is a much more open space to sort of do something like that, but then like nobody sees it, so what's the point, is kind of my thought right now. So anyway, this is at least my 6th Micah Satchel. Now I think that the next one I do will not be until summer. It's been a year of like making them for all the girls' friends on their birthdays. So I think that, yeah, this is the 6th one that I've made, and I think the next time I'll have an opportunity to make this and gift it to a little girl will be next summer, in the summer. So a little break, but that pattern knits up really fast. I started on Sunday and I finished it on Thursday night, and I was very busy in between. So that's a fun project. Okay, I have 2 whips, both you've already seen. So no big surprises here, but this first one is almost done. I plan on finishing it tonight. I probably should have just finished this whip and worked on the feedback form, but instead here I am. So this is a pair of socks for my son for Christmas, and I am on the toe. I'm on the second half of a rounded toe, so I have like 6 more rounds, if that. And here we are. So I probably won't show these again, but I decided to do a contrast heel and toe, and yeah, 72 stitches on US 0 needles. I am not sure how much yarn they use because I'm not quite done. I haven't weighed them, but I do have some left over. The yarn was a gift from Dawn. She is the Crafty Dawn on Instagram, and it's called Marathon 100. And these are like obnoxiously bright and fun, and my son loves socks like that. So I'm really excited for him to have these at Christmas time, to put them in his stocking. And yeah, I still have quite a bit of yarn left. So I know they didn't use like too close to 100 grams, but I'll be curious to find out how much is left and how much this used, because I did use like a contrast color for the heels and toes. So obviously these socks are more than what I used up of the main color. Those are almost done. Tomorrow I have like 5 hours of riding in the car, so I need to get these done so I can get a new pair of socks on the needles before I get in the car tomorrow morning. So, and I have another skein of yarn from Dawn that I'm going to cast on for my other son. Probably something similar to this. I'm thinking of doing like a pattern though, instead of just stockinette. Although I know once I get into it, I might regret it. But I think the fit will be better if I do like I'm looking at the Stack of Books pattern. I think that designer is Sock Witchery. Jenny Lee from Wyoming Knits is always knitting the Stack of Books and the String of Lights pattern. So I was like, I think that might help me get a better fit since I can't get him to try them on. So those are some thoughts on my next sock. And then my last work in progress is probably going to look very similar, but this is my Color Tip Tee by Emily Curtis. I'm using Cascade Heritage as the main color, and I haven't added any of the contrast in yet. However, the big update is I did cake up all 6 of the contrast colors so that I can do that when I want. I had a friend's daughter visiting, and she was old enough to actually be helpful with caking up yarn. So I was like, please help me. And we got all of them done. So this is my Progress Keeper. I actually have the needles connected with a stitch marker so they don't fall off. There's the progress I've made. Stockinette in the round in fingering weight on US 4 needles. I did do the V-neck modification for the front, which makes me a little bit more anxious about picking up the collar and getting like a good fit for that. And I also added in my own bust shaping. So you can sort of, I think that this will block out better than it looks now, but you can see some of it there. And let's see, and there. I don't know, my hand isn't like letting me give you a good view of it, I don't think. Here, maybe you can see it there. So I'm on my second skein of the Cascade Heritage, but I still have like quite a bit. So I don't know. I know it's not getting too long yet, so I'm just gonna keep knitting. If I'm worried that it's getting too long, then I'll make a decision about what to do at that point. I'm not sure if this second ball will make it too long or not, but instead of worrying about that now, I can just knit on it now. This is a project I could bring in the car tomorrow, but I'm feeling less rushed at finishing this. Like, it's sweater weather now, and this is a t-shirt. So I do want to get like another stocking. I have a gift knit that I want to do by the beginning, like this first or second week of November, which is like 2 weeks away. And yeah, so I have a gift knit to do in the next 2 weeks, and then I have another pair of socks to do by Christmas, and one more stocking for one of my daughters by Christmas. Actually, it'd be nice if that was done like by December 1st, so it could be part of the Christmas decorations. I do think, here's a thought. So all of the stocking patterns I found they charted the names with color work, like a color work chart, either to duplicate stitch or to do stranded color work with. And after doing the initial sweater, and I was having trouble with the next child that I was going to make a stocking for, because the name I wanted to do doesn't like fit as well in the stitch count that I have for the stocking, in like half of, so it would be like in that half. So I was like, well, I could go like, a little bit over on the front and a little bit over on the back, and you'd still probably be able to read her name. But I realized I could do this embroidery, like this chain stitch instead. Something like this, but for her name. And I'd be less restricted by like the specific number of stitches on half of the stocking. So I might try that for her, like a crochet embroidery name instead of a duplicate stitch name. So that's a thought that I had that I was really excited about for doing the next stocking. I did have some things I was going to change up this time that I didn't do last time to, I think, hopefully get a better fit for the stocking, but that requires like brain space. So I'm not sure. I was planning to pick the stocking up next, but then we got invited to this birthday party, so now I want to crank out a cute little gift for the baby who's turning 1. I was thinking I might even make her a sweater, but I've decided against that, although I'm sure I could do it in 2 weeks. I was thinking I would do one of these, but with ribbed button band and hems, because that's faster than all this double knitting stuff. Like, the double knitting was like half the knitting time for this little itty bitty sweater. And it would still look really cute with some 1x1 ribbing. But I decided I didn't want to do that. And I think I'm going to make her like a little headband. So that's probably what I'll work on next, is the baby headband. And then another stocking. And I need to frog a couple sweaters before I can cast on another sweater for me. And I need to order yarn before I can cast on my husband's sweater for the year. And I have yarn on hand to make my older daughter another sweater at some point this winter as well. Since she's the oldest, she only ever has like essentially one sweater that fits her well every winter, and her sisters like have 2 or 3 now, so she's feeling a little left out, that like this is her sweater. If she wants to wear something I made for her, this is it. I mean, she has a dress I sewed for her and a dress I knit for her, but if she wants to wear one of my sweaters, this is it. She does actually have lashes, but it's a little bit small. So she was wishing that she had more. So I think I will try to knit her another one this winter. I also have like some sewing goals, and I've made zero progress on any of that. And we are really busy right now. Like this weekend, next weekend, last weekend, we were all going out of town, like taking day trips out of town. And that's just a lot of work when you have 3 little ones. So it's fun, it's good stuff, but it does keep us really busy. So I think I talked really fast because I was worried about my kids interrupting and the baby not going to sleep because we're off of our regular schedule today. But I think that's all that I have for today.